Good evening, everybody. It's Rod with Pow Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth. We're going to get started here in about a minute or two. We'll just give it a few seconds for people to join us, and we'll get started with today's live stream. I see we have some people joining us, so welcome, you beautiful people. We're going to get started. It's Rod with Pow Group. In about 30 seconds, we'll give it another few seconds for people to hop on here before we get started with the stream. Kassan, welcome to the stream. Everybody else joining, I see we have quite a few people joining at the moment, so I'm going to get started. It's Rod with Pow Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth. It's Monday. It's May 16th. Hope you're well today. And in this video, going to be discussing safe banking and the opportunity of a lifetime. Honestly, it's something that I've been very, very grateful for. Just be living through all of this with you all is fantastic. I couldn't ask for anything else. You know, wouldn't trade it for the world. So before we get to it, make sure to smash the like. It helps support me, and the channel doesn't cost you anything. Subscribe if you're new here, and tick the bell to be notified on any future updates. Gonna crack a cold one after the end of the day that we had today. I've been saying for a while now that I think we're gonna see safe banking pass by the end of 2022, and there was 3 articles out at the end of the day today, uber bullish, which we're gonna take a look at here in a second. But before we do, cheers, everybody. Still on the keto diet, so I'm drinking the Michelob Ultra at the moment. But cheers, everybody joining the stream. See, we have quite a few people joining us. Hello, Jim Losi, you bet. Exciting news. So we've got a great stream for you guys today. It's been a busy day. There's been a lot of earnings in the market as well. A lot of mixed bag. There's been ups and downs. There's been positive. I've been noticing the MSOs again, though, starting to show a little bit of a peak. We're starting to see a little bit of a just slowing down, right? We know that no further states are coming online, so until we see more states come online, we know New Jersey is going to be a $2 to $3 billion market in the next 3 or 4 years or so. So that it should start to come back up, but we're starting to see MSOs a little toppy. But going to jump into the first article here, which is from MJ Moment. So Congressman says there's tremendous momentum to pass MJ banking in the new manufacturing bill. I've been saying this for a while now. A lot of people were speculating at the end of the day why everything was popping. And the first thing I said was it probably related to SAFE, because we had double-digit gains in the US and in the Canadian space as well. And all of our names were popping off. Some names up high tide, almost 30%. And we didn't have the greatest earnings. And there was all the momentum in the world to be bearish. And eventually there comes a time where we run out of sellers, right? And after everything was up, you know, that much and spike that hard into the end of the day, the first thing I said, it's got to be a sector-wide catalyst. It has to be something related to the sector, not an individual company, because a lot of people were saying, hey, why is high tide up? Why is Hexo up? And it's like, well, if you look at the whole sector as a whole, everything shot up for the most part, right? And then sure enough, about 20 minutes after the stock market closed, we had this. So obviously some smarter people than us who were in the know, maybe some sort of insider, caught wind of this. But this is exactly what I've been calling for. And when 95% of people, if you ask, I should do a poll soon, but if you ask, say if you did a poll of 1,000 retail investors, I guarantee you 900 to 950 of them would say that SAFE is years away from passing and US legalization is years away from passing. What do we know that 95% of retail investors usually are? They're usually wrong, right? So if 95% of people think it's not going to pass, it's like Jim Cramer when he says to buy a stock, right? You're probably better off doing the opposite. So when I see majority of retail investors don't think that MJ is going to pass, that's when I start to be concerned. That's when I start to look at the other side of the coin, right? And just looking at the charts, looking at the most likely scenario, we know Amazon is backing it. We know Apple's now backing full-blown federal legalization as well. And what makes the most sense, before we do full-blown legalization, how are these banks and financial institutions that run the world, who manipulate every single market, how are they going to manipulate MJ if they don't have safe banking? well, we can't have a world where it's not manipulated by the big banks. Right? That'd just be ludicrous. So of course we have to have safe banking happen first, so that the financial institutions and the banks like the JP Morgans, Morgan Stanleys, and Goldman Sachs of the world can get positioned, right? And then they're going to do full-blown legalization. So I think there's a very high chance of this passing by the end of 2022. Let me know in the comments below if you agree with me. Nunes Knees, things are getting interesting. You bet. Welcome to the stream, my friend. So I did some other videos this morning, getting a ton of views on the SNDL video. They missed on their EPS. They missed on their revenue. Didn't look too good there as well. We also know that they fell down to 15 spot for April. This is April 2022 sales in the recreational market by licensed producers. And this is from Hi-Fire. Seeing a lot of people saying that, oh, this isn't even real. These numbers aren't. What do you mean it's not real? Go to Hi-Fire or look at David George Koch. He's from PNN. Like, these are two very reputable sources. People who say that these are fake numbers don't have a clue. Yeah, they literally have no idea what they're talking about. So Sundial is at 7.4 million in April last month, and Aurora, for comparison's sake, was 6.1, and we know they're focusing primarily on medical. So yeah, Sundial better hope this Alcanna acquisition and focusing more on liquor and retailing liquor stores is going to help them, because 7.4 million is pretty bad. If you take a look at Organigram coming in third, shout out to Organigram, and Tilray and Hexo coming in at 2, Hexo number 1. Hexo's got like 4.5 times the amount of sales as Sundial last month, right? And what's Sundial's market cap? So 4.5 times sales. Sundial's market cap's 1.1 billion, and Hexo is 162 million, I think. Oh, it shot up after the spike there at the end of the day. So 187 million. And a lot of people think Hexo has a lot of shares. It's like, what do you... It's hilarious, some of the comments you get from trolls and whatnot. We do have 458, but SNDL has 2.4 billion now. And obviously there's different structures to these shares. But SNDL, if we take a look at statistics, it's got 2.38 billion. So 2.4 billion shares. So if you take their net loss, I think it was 38 million divided by their shares, you get negative 0.015 or something like that. So they were forecasting flat EPS, and it missed on that. It also missed. They were expecting like 3 million more than they came in on revenues or something like that. Auxly also missed on EPS and revenues. And what did we notice about this here as well is that Auxly dropped. Auxly's been lost position to Canopy and Village Farms. I think they were in third at one point, and Organigram made a good push there as well. But Hexo's still at number 1, controlling about an 8.9% market share. And man, wait till you guys see the next few months. Like, this is going to be, the next 6 to 12 months is going to be a monumental time, not just in the MJ industry, but wait till you see what Hexo goes and does. Mark my freaking words, because they just released the straight pre-rolls, the readies. They're now in Hexo format. Let me bring it up here, actually. The readies. They rebranded the readies under Hexo. And they've got Ultra Sour and Gelato. Ultra Sour is amazing. They also just released the pre-roll, the readies plus. So these are going to be THC distillate infused for 25% every time. These are going to be huge. We've got these now entering Ontario. We've got edibles now in Quebec. We've got CPG partner coming within weeks. I've never been more excited about a stock, and I could care less about the price because everything's down 80 to 90%. If you're wondering why somebody was saying to me yesterday why High Tide was down. I'm like, High Tide is down because everything else is down. It's an MJ stock, therefore it's down 80 to 90%. I don't even have to look at the chart. I already know. And look, it's down 86%. And then if we take a look at Tilray from its highs, it's down 94%. So I would say High Tide's doing pretty good, right? But if you're wondering why your stock is down, it doesn't matter about fundamentals. Fundamentals don't matter. I did a video on that. You can check that out. But fundamentals do not matter yet, right? Keyword yet. That's why GTI, Trulieve, High Tide, they're all down, even though they have great fundamentals. It's because they're an MJ stock and it's following the MJ market. 13 new drinks from Trust. Speaking of which, going down to Value Buds right after this. Just called them. They got the new drinks in, so I'm gonna go try the new root beer. I forget what all they had. They said they had in stock, but I'm gonna try and wrap this one up, this live stream, as quickly as possible, and then I'm gonna do a product review video a little bit later on those drinks. And if anybody's tried any of the new drinks from Hexo, if you tried any of these ultra sours, gelatos, the Reddy's Plus, let me know, because I really want to know I haven't heard anybody really try them yet. I know a couple reps and things like that, but they work for Hexo. I want somebody who's completely unbiased, right? I want to get to the truth. People think I just pump this stock. It's like, no, they literally have the best IP, the best products, the most exciting company in the MJ world. It is. I mean, obviously they have some bad things, right? Their management has been turned over, but Scott came in to cut costs, and now they got Charlie Bowman in there, who's got more CPG and food experience. We know that they're coming out with a new CPG food partner. But they, trolls on the internet don't actually look past their own nose and go look into things, right? People just look at the financial. They look at the top line and they think that's they don't even factor into the fact that Trust CBD in the U.S. with Molson Coors doesn't get factored into this, right? There's so many things they're not factoring in. U.S. legalization, there's so many bullish catalysts that you can't just see in the numbers right now. And that's when you get those fundamental maxis who say, well, the numbers don't lie. And it's like, yeah, but if you're in a high growth industry, imagine trying to look at Amazon's numbers back in 1996 or 2000 when it dropped 95% after the dot-com bubble. Could you have accurately predicted the value of the enterprise today based on those numbers? No, because they evolved from books into selling everything, including the kitchen sink, right? And again, we know that Apple got saved by Microsoft from bankruptcy in 1997, and now Apple has a bigger market cap than Microsoft. Now Tilray is coming in doing the exact same thing for Hexo. These two companies, mark my words, are going to move on to shape this industry together. There will be other winners and losers. There's going to be winners and losers on both sides of the border. Don't get me wrong. Tilray and Hexo. Hexo, my number one holding in terms of capital, and Tilray, my second favorite LP. Not completely sold on Tilray's alcohol business, just like Sundial though, because if all these companies, who has the most to lose? Like we've always said, big alcohol and big tobacco. Why is Altria partnering with Kronos and Constellation Brands partnering with Canopy and Molson Coors partnering with Hexos? Because they have a lot to lose from this new burgeoning industry. And if they lose market share and customers because people are trying to be healthier and looking for other alternatives, I just don't understand why they would want to get into the alcohol business, because it's going to get hurt from that. So I think, again, Hexo has the best strategy, business model. Yes, they have problems financially. I think they issued a poison pill to avoid a hostile takeover. They were worth 160 million market cap, and they still didn't get bought out by somebody. I would say the poison pill worked with the debt that they issued. We know Twitter was going to do the same thing with Elon Musk, but obviously, when you're powerful like that, you just get what you want. But now there's talks that the deal might actually fall through. So like I said, gonna go check out. I know they said they had root beer. I think they have cream soda as well. And I think he said the lemon iced tea. And I'm doing the keto diet, but today I do not care. I'm going to go get those beverages the second I hit end stream. And I'm going to do a product review for all you guys. When is that bill, including SAFE, supposed to be passed? If it does, I'll get to that here in a second. We'll go through the articles. It could take a couple months, right? It might not really do anything because it's got to get passed by Congress and then written into law. I'm not a legal expert. I don't claim, my focus is on technicals and products and the MJ space. I've been pioneering the MJ space. I focus more on the technical and, the technical side of things and just overall psychology of markets, right? I don't claim to be a law expert or anything like that. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know. I don't have all the answers, but I've been saying for a long time now that safe banking is looking like it's going to pass, right? And that just comes through experience, right? Knowing that Amazon and Apple are backing full-blown legal. It's different this time, right? It's not the same. Everybody says, it's just good for another pump and dump. No, things are different. You have to look, you have to do research, I've got over 10,000 hours invested into studying this market, right? And I've given my whole life to this market, right? Why do you think this is an MJ-centric YouTube channel? It's because I've devoted my entire life, essentially my whole adult life, to this plant, right? It's medicine. It's going to change the world. It's making people's lives better, both physically, mentally, and financially, right? And it's going to continue to do so at an unprecedented level. And you guys have no idea the opportunity that you have in front of you. You're just too focused on these goddamn prices that you can't see past your own nose to see what's really going on. Drop the emotions, put them outside the goddamn door. And I'm getting passionate here because I'm so sick and tired of everybody sounds the exact same in every single group. Oh, but the price. The price doesn't matter. The price is not, Amazon's price dropped 95%. And if one internet troll says anything about comparing to Amazon, I swear to God, you're going to get banned immediately, because it's the same thing. It's a new upcoming industry. It's a new burgeoning industry that has high growth that has never been experienced before. We're disrupting this market and the whole world with this plant that's going to change so many people's lives. And you guys can't stop focusing on the price for 5 minutes. It doesn't matter. MJ is not going to zero. It's not going away. As long as you do your research, invest in sound companies that are going to be here and diversify. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. I hear 9 out of 10 times people only own one MJ stock. That is a terrible idea. Terrible. You are doing it wrong. You need to diversify. I own multiple LPs, multiple MSOs. I own multiple retailers and ETFs. I own more crypto than I do MJ, and I have more cash in my portfolio than anything else, right? Ready to buy the dip in case, because you never know, right? And again, the price doesn't matter to me, because I know that the money that I put in is more than I'm not, putting in any more than I'm willing to lose. And MJ isn't going away. Look at all the bullish fundamentals that are going on in the background, but are not doing anything because fundamentals don't matter right now. Check out my video on why that is, right? So, again, I get a little passionate about this stuff because, like, other than crypto, like cryptocurrencies, regardless if you think it's a Ponzi scheme or it's not you're out to lunch. You need to go put 10,000 hours like I have into researching crypto. When you have 10,000 hours, come back and talk to me, and then we'll have an adult conversation on why you think crypto isn't going to succeed. But that's for another day. Crypto is going to be about a 10 to 100 trillion, maybe more market. MJ will be lucky to get to $1 trillion market in the next 5 to 10 years or 20 years. Okay, so the biggest opportunity, in my opinion, right now is crypto, and then the second biggest opportunity is MJ. But I'm more focused on MJ because it's my passion. I just love everything to do about it, right? I've been ever since it was fully illegal. I've been pioneering this. I've been an advocate for it, and I used to debate people in class and everything like that. So this is my passion, right? And I cover both sectors, but these are the two most volatile asset classes on the planet. If you can't handle 80 to 90% drawdowns, you don't deserve the 10 to 100x gains that's going to be had over the next few years. And this is what they do. They know that safe banking was coming. They know that full-blown legalization was coming. So what do? They cause a four-year bear market, and they drop prices down 90 to 95%, just like they did in Amazon. They shake out all retail, and then they go on to create the biggest bull run of your life. And you're going to sit out and miss because you were so fed up and so worried about the price. Forget about the price, right? Look at what's going on behind the scenes, right? So, Congressman says there's tremendous momentum to pass MJ banking in the manufacturing bill. A key congressman involved in the bicameral, I don't even know, I've never seen that word before. Negotiations on a large-scale manufacturing bill says he's optimistic about the prospects of including MJ banking reform in the final version of the legislation that gets signed into law. Republican Earl Blumenauer, man, what a weird name. A long-standing champion of MJ, try not to say that word because the YouTube algorithm doesn't like it. Still federally illegal in the U.S., right? And that's another thing too, right? Like my videos don't get pushed out to the mass because they're not suitable for advertisers and things like that. So once it's federally illegal, this is all things that are going to change, right? People just can't see past their own nose, and they got the Velcro shoes and need help getting their shirt on in the morning. Those internet trolls that we all know that are no shortage of. So MJ legalization, who is serving as the conferee of the America Competes Act, talked about the state of play and steps he's taking to secure the banking language during the press brief on Monday. And again, you don't need to be a legal expert. You don't need to know how Congress works and all that. All you need to know is how the game is played, right? And how emotions work and how charts work and how cycles work and uptrends and downtrends and just factoring in everything, get a high level view. Okay, well, if Amazon and Apple are backing it now, and potential for another CPG partner, and we've got all these American companies like Cannabis Growth partnering with Constellations and Altria and British American Tobacco. All these companies are getting involved, and you got companies doing Canopy with Acreage and Medben with Tilray. Might they know something? Like, do you guys think that as retail investors we're smarter than them? Like, of course not, right? I'm going to park my pennies next to their dollars. I care less what anybody comments on my video because I know they're a retail investor. I don't even answer half of this stuff because they don't have a clue. They think everybody thinks they're a genius, but why would these Fortune 200, 500 companies be doing all this if they didn't think it was going to happen for 4 or 5 years? It just doesn't make any sense. To me, the writing's on the wall, and if I have to wait 2-3 years, it's fine. But I don't think that's going to be the case. I think SAFE's going to pass at some point before the end of the year. He said that there is concerted effort among conferees in both chambers to make sure that the House-passed Secure and Fair Enforcement Safe Banking Act is attached to the SAFE conference report that's sent to the president's desk. And while Senate leadership has yet to see the issue, he's confident that the Bicameral, I don't know that word, panel, will seal the deal. I've never seen that word before in my life. I thought it was going to say bipartisan, but there is a strong base support among the conferees for keeping this MJ banking language in enacting it. He said, we think that this is a perfect opportunity to get some actual movement on this. We've got, because they know federal legalization is coming and they got to get their Wall Street friends and banking friends positioned, right? While prices are at 52-week lows and all-time lows. It's so obvious. We've got a vehicle that decides to be acted upon relatively soon, and no one saw this coming. Manufacturing bill. What did Rod say for the last multiple months? Probably coming a lot sooner than we think, and probably will surprise most of us when it does get released. We got a vehicle that needs to be acted upon relatively soon. There's broad support for it, and Congressional MJ Caucus co-chair, who led a letter to leadership last month that stressed the urgency of enacting the banking reform, said, I think there is tremendous momentum. The Commerce Committee held the first Committee of America's Competes Act last week, which multiple appointed conferees urging the body to attach the Safe Banking Act language in the interest of the economic, competitive, and public safety. What else do we know? Chuck Schumer delayed the bill in April, which we knew was pretty much dead on arrival anyway, but delayed it, right? Again, probably so that they can get their banking friends involved first. Republican Maxine Waters, who chairs the House Financial Services Committee and previously listed MJ banking as a legislative priority ahead of the conference, said that the bipartisan word I was looking for, nature of the reform proposal is evident based on the fact that the House included it in the chamber's version of the manufacturing bill before it was removed from the Senate. Additionally, nearly a quarter of all senators sent a bipartisan letter last week urging that MJ banking to be included in the final bill. The third highest ranking Democratic member in the Senate, Sen. Patty Murray, love the last name, has taken special interest in MJ banking reform, describing it as a priority of hers as an appointed member and, there's that word again, Bicameral, conference committee. She said last week that she hopes we can all come to the agreement to keep safe banking in her final bill so that MJ stores in the states like mine do not have to operate entirely in cash, right? Yeah, they're saying that it's, now they're realizing that it's a safety concern, right? For like robbers and whatever. Blumenauer said on Monday that he believes that the conference could finalize its report within the next couple of months. So there you go, within the next couple of months, ahead of the summer recess, if not sooner. What else do we know about MJ? We usually have a summer lull, and we could see some selling pressure into, I've been saying for a while, into June, July, into the broader market. So if we see, more downside in the S&P 500, they might wait until the fall, right? There's more potential for downside. Everybody calm your jets. We could see more downside from here, right? If the broader market, if S&P 500 drops another 30%, like a .com crash era, we've only down about 20% from the all-time high. If we drop 50%, that means we could go another 30%. Do you have 50% of your net worth in cash like I do? Are you hedging the S&P 500 with a short position on the S&P 500 so that if the S&P 500 goes down, you can take those profits and buy more beaten down MJ? Not telling you to buy, sell, or hold, not telling you financial advice. That's just what I'm doing, right? To prepare. There's a reason why 50% of my net worth is in cash, and the reason why MJ is one of my least biggest portions of my investment portfolio. I own more crypto than I do MJ. It's going to change over the next few months. But these are all things we need to be real with, right? Again, it's not just moon boy and bull blinders on. We could see more downside. So what are you doing? And are you dollar cost averaging? Are you shorting the S&P 500? Are you hedging? Are you keeping some cash on the side? What are you doing? Right? Are you trying? Maybe you pick up another job on the side. Maybe you're trying to get a little bit of extra money to buy the dip. Right? All these people saying they have no cash left. Well, get creative. Right? Whenever I didn't have any cash before, I was financially free. 5-6 years ago, I started working skip the dishes, on my off days, on my evenings, and on the weekends to get extra cash to invest into crypto. Then crypto exploded, and then real estate exploded. It completely retired me for the rest of my life. I don't have to worry about money ever again. So why do you think I don't care about MJ? Because MJ is a very small part of my investment portfolio, and I've already made my fortunes from crypto and real estate, right? But MJ, I think, is going to be the next major sector that's going to have life-changing, and it's going to create many, many millionaires, right? If not billionaires. So over the next couple of months, this is pretty long. I'm not going to go through it all. We're getting long in the stream here, 26 minutes. But another one here from Leafly. Safe banking has perfect opportunity to pass in Congress soon, says legalization. And funny how this all came out right at pretty much the exact same time after, media just pumping it hard. So we'll see if we get maybe like a front page article on CNBC. I highly doubt it. They'll wait until the full-blown market, the full bull market to confirm right before they actually start putting it on. See, again, all this stuff, you can realize that, they're not putting MJ on any mainstream media, on any of the main pages, or they're not covering it at all, like in any of the segments on their shows, right? That's by design. They don't want you to get in when the prices are at value prices and life-changing prices. They're going to wait until everything shoots up 10 to 20x, and then they're going to make you buy the top. Then they're going to put it on the front page. Like, again, you don't need to be a law expert to understand how the game is played. You just need to have experience, and if you don't have experience, maybe find a community. I know a few. I know at least one that specializes in this stuff, and we can all work together, right? That's the whole idea. In a nutshell. U.S. lawmaker Blumenauer sees clearer pathway for MJ banking reform. It's funny how just all these people just one day wake up and they all come, smelling the leaves this morning, right? Just gotta love that smell of MJ in May, right? Must be the spring coming in. They all just feel like this has to happen right around the same time, right? Like, if you guys don't understand how rigged this market is, just look at the MJ charts. They shot it up, HMMJ almost 400%, and then they crashed it 80%, right? But taking a look at the market here today, we've got High Tide, SNDL, Hexo leading the bull list. High Tide up over 26% to end the day. On the bear list, we had XLY Love. They reported earnings, like I said, missed on both. But again, the fact that we had multiple digit gains here in Canadian, and then NBEV was also up 65% today, KHRN, GRWG. I just knew that there was likely going to be something that had to do with safe banking. And then, lo and behold, 3 articles come out right after each other. Let's take a look at some of our, I want to take a look at SNDL real quick here. After hours, closed at 41. We were down about 15% there after hours. But again, guys, I know I'm sounding exciting. I'm getting excited. I'm always, Mr. Positive because, I understand where this market is going. I understand that there's negatives, but why fixate on the negatives, right? I get people come on my channel all the time and they comment, Hexo's going bankrupt. Okay, so what are you doing with your time? Why are you coming on? What do you have better to do? Like, do you have so much time in your hands? Literally, one guy commented like a big paragraph, and then I commented an even bigger paragraph, and then he never commented again because, well, that's quite often what happens when you're an internet troll, right? You don't have any actual sense or logic behind your statements. It's just emotion, right? So he comes on and says something like, Hexo's not going to make it, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, dude, cool. Thanks for sharing your information. But you didn't say why you thought that. You just said statements without backing it up. And how about, here's a thought, here's an idea. How about go focus on the companies that you think are going to make it, right? It takes more energy to be negative than it does to be positive, right? So instead of bashing and using all your energy to be negative, go focus on the companies you think are going to make it. Like, I just, oh man, It's just, I know where MJ's going. Why do you think I don't care? Because I know that in 5 to 10 years, this industry is going to look nothing like it does right now. It's going to create many, many millionaires, those who don't have emotions and can actually hold on and not sell too soon, or see an article like, oh, if you own MJ stocks, you're not going to be able to travel to the US. Oh yeah, big load of BS, right? I've traveled to the US many times, right? That was just a scare tactic at the top of a bull market to get you to sell so that they could rope you in, right? But yeah, I go off on a tangent, but a lot of this stuff you guys need to hear, right? And it was the same thing with crypto. When I was buying crypto in the bear market, I knew that this was going to be the future. The money hasn't evolved in, like, we're still using the same traditional money system, and we can send emails and information at the speed of light. Why can't we send money at the speed of light, right? Using the same pipeline as the internet. Now crypto is the internet of money and versus the internet of information. If I see so many people say they don't understand what crypto is, that's what it is. It's the internet of money, and we're going to be able to send value from here to point A, from here to China in 3 seconds. XRP, check it out. But again, I knew where the market was going. I dollar cost average. I didn't invest any more than I was willing to lose, and then my life changed forever after the next bull run, right? And the same thing's going to happen with MJ. And then once my crypto gets so big, right? Like I've already started to take profits last year, but now I'm focusing on altcoins. Once my crypto gets so big, I'm going to say, okay, well, that's like a large part of my net worth now. So I'm going to rebalance that and diversify it, and then I'll look to make more investments into MJ, right? But there's a reason why I have 50% of my net worth in cash. And then once MJ shoots up and goes up 10, 20, some names might even go 100x plus, then I'll look to take profits and de-risk, right? Because that'll be a huge part of my net worth, and then I'll rotate it into other sectors. That's all pursuit of wealth is figuring out the next trend, where we're at in a cycle, what's the next up and coming sector. And it was crypto. The next one's going to be MJ, and then after that, we might see 3D printing. We might see more EV. EV might get a turn again, right? Like there's all these sectors that are gonna really take over the world, right? And biotech companies are another industry that is probably going to flourish as well. But tech stocks, I'm staying the heck away from tech, like I've been saying for months. And the reason why is because we got too hot, right? And eventually, this is gonna. Netflix down 82% in 6 months, right? And then everybody, I never want to hear anybody complain about MJ volatility ever again. Ever. Never again. If you ever consider complaining, just think of, oh, remember that time Rod brought up Netflix? Oh, remember the time Rod brought up Luna? This is a crypto. You don't need to understand anything other than the fact that it lost 100% of its value in a few days, okay? And this had I think like a $20 billion market cap, okay? Hexo, for comparison's sake, Tilray's market cap's only like 1 or 2 billion, or a little over 2 billion at the moment. This thing had a market cap of like 20 billion, and it went to zero in 3 days. Went from $120 to zero, okay? So never complain about MJ volatility again. Simple as that. All right, let's get into some fun stuff here. No, I'm not drinking Hexo products. It's a Michelob Ultra, but I'm going to get Hexo's new drinks. They just got them in today. Gonna go get the lemon iced tea, he said, and he said they had cream soda and root beer. I think he said maybe one more too. So I'm gonna go get those, and I'm gonna do a review of those later. But yeah, Kramer, answer your question, I would say in the next few months it could happen, but more realistically into the fall. We know that the elections in the US are into the fall as well. So that's something to be watching out for. But yeah, Michelob Ultra. Haven't seen those in Quebec yet. No, they don't. They won't, John. I think you mean the readies or the straight pre-rolls. Is what you mean? They won't because Quebec just allowed edibles like this month or like a couple weeks ago, right? Well, the rest of Canada has been multiple years now. So Quebec just allowed edibles. They still don't allow vapes, and like that's a huge market, right? Like think of Oxley and the number one 2.0 product, right? And Quebec doesn't even have, the second largest province in Canada doesn't even have edibles in, well, they just allowed edibles. Tilray, the only one with edibles there in the SQDC so far, but not even vapes yet. And I think Oxley's like number one seller is vapes, right? Like that's their main thing. And that's a huge untapped market. But again, the fundamental maxis are just looking at the numbers, not really looking under the hood, and they can't look past their own nose. They need help getting their shirt on in the morning, and they wear Velcro shoes, like Moon Lambo, fellow YouTuber says all the time. Love it. Like, he always makes fun of the Bitcoin maxi trolls. I call them the classical, nonsensical, stereotypical internet troll, and they're everywhere, right? They're floating about everywhere, and they have nothing else to do with their time but to come on and be an a-hole, right? And just it's sickening. It really is, right? But yeah, it won't be in Quebec yet because they look like cigarettes. That's the whole. Right, Quebec has laws for sneezing the wrong way. So, and again, no offense to anybody in Quebec. Like, I love Quebec. You know, je parle français un petit peu. Je parle comme la meilleure du monde, mais je suis bilingue, mais c'est pas mon langue, mon première langue. Alors, you know, I speak French. I know French. I went to school in French. I just don't practice French, right? I can speak it enough to carry on a conversation. I love Quebec. Don't love Quebec's laws, though, right? It's stifling innovation, and that's an untapped market, right? Don't worry about it. It'll come. I know people in. It's weird too, because like people in Quebec smoke so many cigarettes, right? It's like the most heaviest per capita smoking population of cigarettes in the world, but yet they won't allow these because they look like cigarettes. It's like, oh my god, my brain hurts. Yeah, the Hexo Readies. Yeah, I knew you were talking about those. And the deal with Tilray too. Yeah, Tilray deal Hexo's market cap's 160 million. They're gonna have access to 102 million in cash immediately, unrestricted. After the Tilray deal closes, there was news out today as well. Almost forgot about it actually. Thanks for reminding me. So if you go here, CDR filing, there was. Forms out today, and this had to do with some sign-off from Roche Vancourt, I think I'm saying his name right, the legal counsel. Then there's just notice of meeting, and then the form of proxy. And all this is voting for the Tilray deal, which I've been saying for months now. A lot of people were saying, oh, it's the reverse split finally taking place, right? All the the bashers and the... and you're like, no. Again, if you use brain and thinking and logic and rationale, you would realize that, oh, we knew that Hexo had to approve the deal, and they said the deal was going to be approved sometime in May, and then this came out, notice of meeting into June, so now it's June 14th, right? Day before earnings, again, tentative. We want to see official confirmation from Hexo that it is on the 15th of June, but that's the tentative date right now, and this is on the 14th of June. Deadline for the proxy, though, is June 10th. And you can see here you just vote for or against. And it has to do with the Tilray deal and the standby commitment from Chaos Capital. You know, again, if you just drop the emotions, breathe, think calmly. And, like, again, this is what people don't do, right? They oh, it's down 98%, it's garbage. Well, if you use that logic on Amazon dropped 95% after the dot-com bubble in 2000. Was it garbage? I bet you a lot of people thought so. But I bet you a lot of people missed out on life-changing financial generational wealth, right? Not saying Hexo's going to be the next Amazon. I'm saying the psychology is very similar, right? There's going to be winners and losers in both. So all this is the Tilray deal getting their proxy and ducks in a row heading into this meeting. But yeah, then they get an extra 180 million from Chaos Capital. So that's 282 million in cash Hexo's going to have after this deal goes through. Their market cap the other day was 162 million, and they're bringing in sales of over 50 million a quarter. That means they're over 200 million annual sales, and their market cap was 162 million, and they're soon going to have access to 282 million in cash. Again, I still see people saying, are they going to go bankrupt? And I'm like, you don't listen. You're literally, your emotions are typing right now. You're not a human. Or you're human, but you're not using your human brain, you know? You're using your human emotion. And you're not thinking straight, right? And even after all the videos I do of is Hexo going bankrupt, and I give 8 reasons as to what they could do before they go bankrupt, and then they still think they're going bankrupt. And it's like, okay, if the Tilray deal doesn't go through, then I'll let you bring up the B word. But until then, that's done. You're just an idiot. Sorry. But for anybody who thinks they're going bankrupt, you don't understand. You need to actually listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth, and not just listen, but try to understand, right? Maybe, I don't know, maybe there's like a language barrier there, or something like that, or maybe they read the thumbnail. I think that's what it is a lot of the time, is people just read the thumbnail of my video or the title, and then they comment. And you're like, well, I took an hour out of my time to help you, right? I don't have to help you guys if I don't want to, right? I'm investing for myself, but I take the time to come on here because I love the industry and I love helping people, and I want to get to the truth, and I want to shut all these like bashers up who don't have a freaking clue what they're talking about. So this is a truth platform. This platform that I'm building is me literally coming on here and telling you the truth, right? And factoring what's bullshit and what's not. And there's a lot of bullshit, right? So I take pride in clearing up and getting rid of that bullshit, right? Excuse the French, but it's true, right? People just need to appreciate and drop the tribalism. We're all on the same team here, right? We don't want to see XYZ company go bankrupt. It's, people would be like, told you so, told you that was a garbage company. No, that's not how this works, right? Why do you think Microsoft saved Apple from bankruptcy in 1997? Because it's not good for the industry. It's not good if Hexo goes bankrupt. It's not good if Tilray goes bankrupt. It's not good if Trulieve goes bankrupt, right? We're all on the same team. We want everybody. I own MSOs. I own LPs, right? I want everybody to succeed. All boats rise. I want everybody listening to my voice right now to be extremely wealthy from MJ in the next 5 to 10 years. And that is why I created this platform, was to come on here and help as many people become financially free because of this amazing industry that we have and this once-in-a-life opportunity. It's only going to be legalized once, and many, many people are going to look back, your ancestors, your people, your generations to come are going to look back on us, their ancestors, and they're going to say they were so lucky. And you're going to be thinking in 5 to 10 years, I can't believe I was worried about the price in year 3 of legalization and the U.S. hadn't even legalized yet. And I was sitting there crying myself, what am I going to do about these light bills, right? Well, first of all, you shouldn't invest money that you need for utilities. But that was a Cat Williams joke, if anybody caught it. I don't know what I'm going to do about them light bills. Oh, man. Oh, this is fun, talking truth and coming on here and just being real with you guys, it's so much fun. So much fun. Tilray is using their alcohol business as a... Yeah, exactly. I said that today earlier as well. I'm more sold on Tilray's strategy, not so much Sundial's, because Sundial's into like the retail locations. I'm like, I don't know. But Tilray, it's a means to an end, right? What they're doing with the alcohol is they're building the brand and the distribution, and they're scaling it, and then eventually they're going to add THC into those like 420 brands, the 420 brands and stuff, right? Exactly. So again, a person who uses their brain versus emotion and can actually have thoughtful discourse, and we can kind of share opinions and disagree or agree or persuade each other and not take offense to it because we have difference of opinions, right? That's where the classical, nonsensical, stereotypical internet troll comes in. They just say stuff without explaining it. It's like, oh, XYZ company's bad because, right? Maybe add because at the end, and then a statement explaining that. Right? Most people just come on, they say shit and don't explain it. And if anybody's listening to my voice, if you come on my channel anymore, I'm done with that. If you say something stupid and you don't explain it, like if you say Hexo's going bankrupt and then the end, I'm not going to respond. I'm just, as far as I'm concerned, you don't exist, because that's just, if you're going to come on my channel, we can have thoughtful discourse. Why do most people bash these other companies? Because they don't own them, and they own other companies, and they don't want other companies to do good because they want their company to do good. But that is called selfishness and childishness, like immaturity and lack of understanding of how markets work, right? So, but yeah, I agree, Nunes, with the Tilray. You're spot on. Very well said, and smart person you are. Will MSOS stocks likely increase? MSOS the ETF or MSOs? I think you mean MSOs. Will MSOs stocks likely increase if SafePace passes? It will, but again, big money can't enter the space until SAFE passes. So until they're on the NYSE and the NASDAQ, big money can't flow in. So how much are they really going to move leading into that? Yes, they'll go up maybe 5, 10x, but you're not going to see those 100x gains that we will see after uplisting, because after uplisting comes, we're going to have a swarm of capital. There's retail investors who can't even buy MSOs right now, or MSOS, the ETF, right? There's brokers who are restricting trade. So again, until they're uplisted, the major financial institutions, hedge funds, all those major trillion-dollar asset managers can't play in MSOs, right? So again, we need to see. So personally, I'm focusing more on the LPs until safe banking. And what do we know that usually happens when they uplist? There's a sell-off. It runs up into the uplist, and then after the day that they start trading on the NASDAQ or the NYSE, then it usually drops. Why? Because retail can finally buy it, and they don't realize how market works, and they say, oh yeah, it's finally on the NYSE, we're going to the moon. And then they add it to the NYSE or the NASDAQ, they drop it, they get you to sell the bottom again, and then they run it, right? Same thing happened with Canopy when it got uplisted. But again, people don't look back at history or use their brain, right? They just think emotions, right? FOMO, I got to get in. It's on the NYSE now. We're going to the moon. But that's probably not what's going to happen. They're probably going to run it into it. It's going to uplist. Then we're going to have a sell-off. And then we're going to have a monster rally bigger than you've ever seen, right? Again, not financial advice. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm prepared for both scenarios. I'm prepared to be right. I'm prepared to be wrong, right? Don't have a crystal ball, but I'm a realist. And all these people out here shooting their mouth off about MSOs only being the only ones worth owning, they're naive. They don't understand. They have no idea what they're talking about. When the US MSOs start expanding to multiple states, that's going to be huge CapEx, capital expenditures. They're going to have to start to focus on international markets. There's going to be competition from other MSOs. There's going to be competitions from LPs. And those who don't think LPs aren't going to be able to sell into the US, again, you're extremely naive. And that's not... Like, all these American companies are taking positions in LPs, right? If they didn't think LPs were going to have any value long term, why would they invest billions of dollars, and why would American companies invest in Canadian MJ stocks? Doesn't make any sense. There'll be winners and losers on both sides of the border, though. But yeah, I have read opposing views, so that's my opinion. We don't know. We just simply don't know. That's why being a part of a community or subscribing to a YouTube channel and constantly checking in and learning how to read charts can all help us. You know, if we start confirming weekly and monthly uptrends in the cannabis sector, well, there's a good chance that SAFE's probably going to pass, right? Same thing happened whenever the Dems were trying to take control of the Senate a couple years ago. Or a year and a half ago, I said the charts are looking super bullish. It looks to me like the Dems are going to win. And then you get people like, oh, you're supporting the Dems? I'm like, no, I'm not political. I'm from Canada. I could care less. I'm like, the charts are saying MJ's going to explode. And then it did. Tilray went from $4 to $67. But we didn't see that same move come from TrueLeaf. TrueLeaf went from $8 to $56 in like a year, right after the March 2020 lows to the February 2021 highs. But Tilray went to $4 to $67 in like 5 months. Right? And why that is because there was one day Tilray had $2.5 billion traded in one day. $2.5 billion went into that stock in one day. And that same day, for comparison, there was only 12 million in TrueLeaf. Okay. So that is why we have huge moves to the upside, because they're on the NYSE and the NASDAQ. That's why I'm focusing more on LPs until the NASDAQ uplisting. Once I see TrueLeaf, GTII, NASDAQ, NYSE, then Rod's going to be like, okay, now I'm going to start focusing more on the MSOs, and I'm going to be selling the LPs, a lot of my positions in LPs to buy MSOs. It's not complicated, folks. And the more experience you have, the more this stuff makes sense, right? Some say SAFE will bring more competition. Yeah, it will. It really is. But again, what I think is going to happen is LPs are going to run up more in terms of percentage gains. And then after the MSOs uplist, then we're going to see a dip in the MSOs. LPs will start to sell off as well. Money will rotate into the LPs, into the MSOs. We'll start to see the floodgates from the financial institutions start to buy up the dip in the MSOs. And that's where I'm going to be starting to focus on the MSOs as my main my majority of my capital in my MJ portfolio. But then what I think is going to happen is we're going to see a monster rally in the MSOs. And then what I think is going to happen is LPs are going to start entering into the US, and then it's going to create a lot of competition. And then a lot of the smaller companies are just going to go to zero. They're going to die off. And like, we got 800 producers in Canada, licensed producers. We don't need 800 producers. That's not sustainable. There's going to be a lot of them get acquired, and a lot of them are just going to go to zero, right? Like, again, being real. Sorry if anybody offended by that, small business, I'm a realist, okay? I tell you what you want. I don't tell you what you want to hear. I tell you what you need to hear. And that's what's going to happen in my opinion. And then there's going to be winners and losers. I think Tilray and Exo are going to be the winners, top 5 global players in LPs. And then we're going to have maybe Cureleaf. I know everybody loves Trulieve. I'm not sold on them. Personally, I like Cureleaf and CL, Cresco, more than I do Trulieve. And that's just because Trulieve's only focusing on Florida. And then they just got they did that acquisition with Harvest, and that's already hurting their numbers a little bit. But what's going to happen when they expand to all of the rest of the US, and then all of Canada, and then all of the other international markets? People don't understand. Numbers do lie. When there's massive growth yet to be had, numbers do lie. The numbers aren't all there yet. And just like your brain isn't all there because you don't understand. People are trying to use traditional valuation metrics to value MJ companies, the same valuation metrics they would use to value a grocery chain store. Tell me how that makes any bit of sense. Is the grocery store industry still illegal in the US? No. Is there some countries that if you own a grocery chain store where you get the death penalty? No. But yet you get these fundamental maxis who say numbers don't lie, and you're like, okay, you're not worth my time. You clearly have no brain or IQ. And again, I'm not trying to sound egotistical or anything like that. It's just, so many trolls out, like with the prices down 80, 90%, and I still make videos in a bear market because I'm here in the thick and the thin. I'm not like some YouTube channels that come on and only talk about the good stuff or only do videos whenever we're in a bull market because they don't want to look like an idiot. I come on here and I support everybody. When we're down 80, 90%, let me know in the comments. Isn't that when you need the most support? Right? Why do you need somebody coming on supporting you when the prices are going up? You don't need support, right? You want support when the price, like, that's what bothered me the most about these channels, because they're just after views, right? They don't care about being real. They just tell you what you want to hear, not what you need to hear, and they're not intellectually honest, and a lot of them are disingenuous, in my opinion. Because they're just chasing, again, I'm not doing YouTube because I'm after the money. Yes, I make a little bit of money, but it is very small. Like, it takes multiple years before you make 1 penny off YouTube. And believe me, it's a lot of work, probably the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, right? And I don't make that much money off of it at all, like barely any. People wouldn't even be able to, the money I make off YouTube, people wouldn't be able to, like, have the basic standard of living. You wouldn't. Wouldn't even pay for your food for the month, okay? And then I have a service, POW Group, which started off as free. But then I was like, okay, well, I can't be giving away all my time, right, for free. So I started a subscription service, right? And again, this was all things that I was doing to supplement my income because times are tough right now, right? The inflation, what are you doing, right? This is where you can start to think of ideas, what you can do. Maybe you can have a side hustle that might turn into your full-time gig, right? I didn't ever think that this was going to turn into a full-time thing, but here we are, right? Anyway, getting off on a tangent again. I might even start a new channel, second channel, just more of like a life goals, like Coach Rod or something like that, where I come on and do these rants. My buddy has a podcast too, Not So Random Rant Podcast. I'm going to try and get on there again with him, but we had some technical issues with the audio. You can check out that podcast, but yeah, I think some people enjoy the rants though. Yeah, they definitely want like MSOs have a monopoly right now, right? So the longer they wait, the better for them, right? And then even LPs like Cannabis Biotech, they're probably hoping that the US doesn't legalize soon because they're still building out Canada, right? They're still not in Alberta or BC yet. And they're a great company, have great products, but they still don't even have the foundation built in Canada yet. And what people don't understand is companies like Tilray and Hexo have the whole global foundation built already. Right? Canara, again, you get the fundamental maximalists who say, oh, I only own Canara because it's the only one worth owning because they're profitable. And it's like, yeah, but they don't even have the foundation built in Canada yet. And then in the US, that's going to be huge capex, and they're going to be way behind, right? So again, Canara is probably hoping as well that they wait for US legalization because they still haven't built out in their own backyard yet. And then international markets, right? Hexo is the best positioned after this Tilray deal goes through, asterisk. Once the Tilray deal is confirmed, it is the best positioned Hexo stock in the world, hands down. Don't care what anybody says. Go do 10,000 hours worth of research like I have, and then we'll have a sensible conversation. 23, the fiasco. Hi, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Bicameral, having consisting of or based on 2 legislative chambers. Okay, cool. Yeah, so it's kind of like bipartisan. Yeah, I learned how to read French before I learned how to read English. I was in French immersion, so my English isn't the strongest. I'll again, I'll admit whenever I have faults or flaws or certain areas. I'm not like those internet trolls who go on to claim to know everything, right, when they really don't know anything. If I don't know something, I'll tell you. I tell you the truth. I come on here, I tell you guys everything that I hear. That again, I do not care what anybody thinks of me, right? I'm financially free. Crypto and real estate changed my life forever. Who would have thought that they were both going to explode in the pandemic, right? But my friend had a house in PEI. It over doubled in 3 years. $200,000 house worth over $400,000 in 3 years. Tell me your life didn't get changed forever, right? Why do you think I'm not worried about this MJ drawdown? Yeah, I don't care. But thanks for sending that definition there, John. I appreciate it. Charles, which trading platform do you trust the most, especially for large transactions? Are you talking about crypto or Questrade? Questrade, hang on. Questrade, official sponsor of Pow Group. I highly recommend them for stocks. They also have like really good like forums and financials if you're into fundamentals and things like that. That's not really my cup of tea, especially in MJ and crypto, because fundamentals don't matter. They will eventually, but they don't matter yet. So if you just go to my channel, click on About, and scroll down, Questrade, official partner. So that's my official sponsor of the Pow Group channel. That's what I use as my first and foremost. I would encourage you to use your bank, though, if you can, because there's a limit on how much you can send out, unless you do like wire transfers. But I use a lot of my trades through RBC because I have my funds with RBC. So I can transfer like $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 from my savings or checkings into my RBC, and it's there instantly, right? Whereas Questrade's a little bit more friction. But Questrade has cheaper fees. Wealthsimple is another good one on here. Commission free, but it's more for beginners. And then, yeah, check out all the links there and affiliates. Full disclosure, I do get a little bit of a kickback on commission on those. But again, it's all about helping people, right? I'm on here helping you guys. I expect a little, help in return. And I mean, you can just go to questrade.com if you want to sign up without using my link if you want to as well. Like, I don't care, right? But that's what I recommend. In terms of crypto, there's some crypto exchanges on there as well. Wealthsimple has both, but Wealthsimple doesn't have access to all stocks either. It's limited. Same with crypto. Hopefully that answers your question, but let me know if it didn't. Any update on Hexo in California? Great question. Again, people don't use their brain on that either. People just, they can't look past their own nose. And yeah, Readies and gel caps could be entering California. And if you think about it, right? Think about it, folks. What has Hexo said that hasn't come true? Everything they said came true. It just a lot longer than we expected, right? Products coming to USA. Hexo products, THC and CBD coming to the USA. Fire and Flower CEO says hats off to the Redecan Readies. We know that this was when they acquired Redecan. So they said, SSL said that Readies and gel caps will be coming to California. They also said that they're going to be doing white labeling for MSOs, right? So that they can sell to an MSO, white label it, powered by Hexo. They make a margin off selling to the MSO, the multi-state operator, the American MJ company, and then they take Hexo's products. Hexo's a product manufacturing company, and then they resell it because they're into retail, and they make another margin, right? So there's double dipping there, right? Hexo makes I think over 50% margin on the readies. That's huge, huge. 50% for a CPG company. Like, you have no idea what's coming. So yeah, California, we don't know. So they said California was going to happen in January, I think he said, but he also said that the CPG partner was going to happen in Q4 of last year. So if it's happening in Q2, that means it was about 2 quarters late. So maybe California is another quarter or two out, right? Because everything that they said was true. They said food products, functional foods, going to be a royalty deal. And then just recently they came out saying it's more than cookies, it's more than granola bars, it's other food products. I've been speculating and done many videos on why I think it's Kellogg's. We've seen multiple interactions with LinkedIn of Kellogg's and Hexo. It's granola, cookies, more than that, it's other food products. That sounds like a Kellogg's, right? Cereal, snacks, granola bars, all that stuff. And yeah, we know that there's been multiple interactions between the two companies. Hexo's facility, Belleville facility, is right next to Kellogg's across the road in Belleville. But yeah, I think California is likely going to be in the next couple of months. 18.99%. Let's go. You bet. Hexo, the future of MJ. Yep. Benjamin's got it figured out, right? Jamlosi, Hexo is not going bankrupt. These people just want to run their mouth for no reason. Yeah, they're intellectually dishonest, or they have an IQ of 5. There's got to be, yeah, I don't know. I think it's just more, they read the title or the thumbnail. They don't actually absorb the information because they don't want to. They're too goddamn stubborn. And they are fundamental maxis, and they've since written off LPs. And you know, even Daniel Pronk or whatever said, I don't invest in companies that are shareholder destruction. Okay, well, the companies you said you invested in, GTII and TrueLeave, are down 80% from February 2021 in highs. And you're telling me that you only invest based on fundamentals? Fundamentals don't matter, or else GTII and TrueLeave and High Tide wouldn't be down 80 to 90%. Might it be that fundamentals don't matter and the whole sector's down 80 to 90%? That sounds like market cycles and understanding how markets work. Yeah. Makes sense. But yeah, anybody who says Hexo's going bankrupt is out to lunch. They literally do not know what they're talking about. Let's go Hexo, Sean says. Great day, you bet. Well, remember, folks, it's all fun and games here at the moment, and positivity and good moods, but we could see more downside, right? We need to come to terms with the fact that we're still in daily downtrends, weekly downtrends, monthly downtrends on a lot of names, and SPY and the S&P 500 could enter a bear market. Like some say we already have. Personally, I'm 50-50. If we drop below 385, it's bad. But if SPY stays above that, I think we could see a relief rally and then really start to see accelerating into the downside into June, July. And we know that MJ usually has a summer lull. Might be different this time, but until things are different, we can expect more of the same, right? People always say, oh, it's going to be different this time. Well, the fact is it's been the same for the last 4 years. So until it's different, I'm not going to say it's going to be different, right? So I'm hedging. I got a short position on the S&P 500. The next time the S&P 500 rallies again, I'm going to add way more short position. And then I still have 50% of my net worth in cash. I still own more crypto than I do MJ. I still own more real estate than I do crypto, right? So I'm ready for both. If MJ takes off, my bags are packed. If it continues to drop, I'm ready to buy the dip and dollar cost average further. Started the stream at 1.75 speed. Yeah, you should be caught up by now. Man, I listened to my voice on 2x speed once, and it's like, I listen to a lot of channels on 2x speed just because I got a lot of stuff to, I even listen to 2x, I still don't have enough time in the run of a day. And yeah, listen to me on 2x is pretty funny. When do you think Hexo will be profitable? 3 to 4 quarters? That's what they're saying, within 4 quarters. So if the Tilray deal goes through, they're going to have access to $282 million in cash. We know their number one position, 8.9 market share last month for the month of April, and $33.7 million. And if we factor that in over the next 4 quarters. They should be profitable over the next 4 quarters, and they're going to have $282 million worth of cash through the equity backstop with Chaos, and $102 million unrestricted as soon as the Tilray deal is done. That's probably going to be enough money to keep them afloat for multiple years. So if we're even if it's 5 quarters, 6 quarters, who cares? They're going to have enough money, backing them. It doesn't matter if it takes 4 quarters or 5 quarters, right? Because they're eventually going to be profitable from operations, and they got enough cash to keep them afloat for multiple months. And they're just releasing the new Readies into Ontario with Ultra Sour. They got the Readies Plus. They have the new King Packs as well. So they have the King Pack Lilac Diesel, Wappa, and Cold Creek Kush. So 70 Readies. Here in Alberta, it's $100. $100 for 70 joints, perfectly rolled Readies. In Ontario, it's $150. But again, all those you can expect Ontario will probably get down to $100 too, because we were at $150 here, but eventually things are just coming down, right? And Hexo's focusing more on Ontario because that's where the most people are, right? Kind of sucks because now I don't get early access to all these products, but I'm okay with that. Hexo, you just keep making the money, right? Focus on the biggest province in Canada. Don't worry about Rod in Alberta. We'll wait, right? But yeah, in the next 4 quarters, I would say Rod dropping straight facts. Yeah, that's all I do, man. It's if I'm wrong, I'll make a video telling you I'm wrong. Right? I was wrong the other day too. I confused the drinks. I thought Hexo's drinks weren't on their financials, but that's USA. Right? Again, people don't understand. There's Hexo's a complicated business, right? It's a very, very convoluted business. Probably the most complicated business in MJ. If you try to wrap your head around it, Tilray's pretty complicated too with all their distribution business, alcohol, and everything else. But Hexo's got some of the most IP intellectual protocols, got some of the best products and portfolios, and number 1 in multiple categories, right? So yeah, Hexo's got a lot of I forget where I was going with that. They got a lot of potential. But yeah, I was wrong about the drinks. So they had the drinks with CBD Trust USA, right? The Veryvel ones that you can buy in the US, right, at liquor stores that I did a product review when I was in Colorado. That's different. That's a private joint venture. That's a private company. So none of those sales are public. They go on Molson Coors financials because it's not federally illegal, because it comes from hemp CBD that is grown and distributed within the US. That gets reported on Molson Coors financials, but it's a private company, a joint venture. Hexo reports on an equity basis. Soon, Trust Canada is going to be the same. So we'll bring up the website. So Trust Canada, right now, these sales get reported on Hexo's financials because they're the ones with the license. Because they have the license, even though Molson Coors has over 50% ownership in that JV, it still gets reported, the Canadian business gets reported on Hexo's financials because they have the license that is required to sell these THC products. But because hemp CBD is legal in the US, that portion gets reported on Molson. So that's something we don't even really see, and it affects Hexo's bottom line, but not their top line, right? So again, all these fundamental maxis who just look at the top line and bottom line, they don't really understand, right? But again, I was wrong, and I fully admit that I'm wrong, right? But you get people, like I said, some YouTube channels that won't come on and have thoughtful discourse. They won't have a difference of opinion, right? Daniel was an example, Daniel Pronk. He came on, he commented on my video. I wrote back, thoughtfully, took my time and thoughtfully responded and gave my points and my honest opinion. And he just commented back absolutely nothing. And then somebody else commented and said he was kind of an immature response, which I agreed with. Again, just because I have a different opinion or somebody points something out that corrects me, I'm going to tell them thank you. If I say anything that's wrong, please comment on my videos and let me know that I'm wrong, because I want to know, right? I'm a truth seeker. I'm not on here looking for views and filling people with what they want to hear. I'm telling them what they need to hear, right? So again, I'll be humble as humble pie can be, right? I will admit when I'm wrong. I won't gloat and I don't brag when I'm right. I don't come on here and say, I told you so. What one channel was telling, crypto channel, I forget the name of it. He was saying that this coin was going to go to zero, XRP, the one that right over here, that my favorite cryptocurrency. He's saying it's going to go to zero, but yet they're pumping Luna coin, like it's going out of style. Guess what one went to zero? That's called karma's a bitch, folks. He was saying that XRP is going to zero, XRP is going to zero, it's garbage. And then they're literally doing like a Luna video every other day. And then it literally went to zero in 3 days. And that is called karma. And those people deserve it, right? I will never come on here and tell you that I hope a company goes to zero or whatever, right? Like, why would I do that? I don't want that to happen. I would be a terrible human being if I wanted that to happen, right? I'm a good person. So no, I don't want any MJ company or any other crypto project to go to zero. I want everything to succeed on a level playing field, right? And I don't, anyway, I digress. Been buying Hexo for years, been listening since the beginning. You bet. Me too, Eric. My first purchase was in July or August. That was my first ever video too. That's when I first started my channel. I started it in 2018, but I wasn't confident enough. I was very shy with public speaking and stuff. It took me about 2 years to really get comfortable. And then in August of 2020, I started my channel in 2018. And then in August of 2020, and if you go back and look at my videos, my Hexo videos from 2020 in August, it's way different, right? It's come a long way. But yeah, that wasn't my strong suit, public speaking and all that stuff. And I used to get really nervous, right? So it took a long time before I could even get like words. Like, I swear I can speak English, right? It's words not coming out of my mouth. But yeah. Been here too, and I was covering. When I saw Hexo had the partnership with Molson Coors, that was all great and all, but I only really got interested in Hexo when Original Stash came out, and then once the actual drinks started to hit the market in August of 2020, like that's when Hexo really caught my attention. I was like, okay, I know a lot about the MJ industry. I've been studying this thing for like 20 years, and if I was an LP, I would run it exactly like Hexo, right? It's like if Rod started an MJ company, which I wouldn't because I don't want to, because, think of how much time SSL, Sebastian St. Louis, had to invest in his company. And if you read his book, no, I don't want that stress in my life. Like, all I did was buy a couple of real estate properties, invested in crypto, and I sat back, and then I retired. It was like, no, I'll just invest in the MJ company. But if I was the one who created an MJ company, I would have done it exactly like Hexo. They were my idol, right? They were like, this is exactly what I would have done. Like, they had it figured out. Anthony, isn't Hexo to the top selling brand in Canada right now? Yep. I just, you must have came in late to the stream. This is based on High Fire data and David George Koch on BNN Bloomberg. But then you'll get some internet trolls, the comical, nonsensical, stereotypical internet troll. Oh, if this is even accurate. And you're like, okay, get back into your hole. No one wants you here. If you don't understand who High Fire and BNN and David George Koch are, just fly. Fly out of here. But yeah, Hexo number one, 33.7 million sales. Keep in mind though, this doesn't factor, this is unadjusted, so it doesn't factor in excise taxes. And the last time I checked, excise taxes on the last report were about 26%. So if it's 33.7 times 26, 8.7, so you're looking at around 25 million for the month. But that's just 1 month, right? Then we have 2 other months, right? So we got February and March. And then I did a video on that as well. You can check that out. But yeah, Hexo at the top, right? It'd be different if Hexo was at the bottom and, the rest of MJ was flourishing. Again, if people just understand markets and how markets work, right? If Hexo were at the bottom and all the rest of the MJ space was doing awesome, then yeah, Hexo would have a very big problem. Now, again, I'm not bashing. I hope Aurora does well, right? Again, I think it's a terrible company. I would never invest 1 penny, but I don't wish it to go to zero, right? I know a lot of people who lost a lot of money on Aurora, right? I want them, there's some of my friends who lost money. I want them to recoup their losses, right? They're bag holders, right? But I don't want them to go to zero. But Aurora is an example of what you would not want, right? If you were investing in Aurora here, like, you're just really grasping at straws, right? They're barely in the top 20. He even says this. The thing about Aurora is that its sales and recreational have fallen so much that it's barely among the top 20. They had $1 billion loss last quarter. Their products, I don't buy any of them. I'm not excited about any of them. None of their portfolio is any good. They're going to medical. They just got rid of their flagship Aurora Sky facility. Hexo only got rid of, and you get the trolls, well, Hexo got rid of facilities. Yeah, but did you realize that they just spent over $1 billion acquiring 3 different companies and acquired all these other facilities? Do you think they need all these facilities that they acquired? No, right? Again, logic and brain power. But again, Aurora would be, if Hexo were down here, that would be concerning, right? But Hexo's number 1. They're partnering with Tilray, number 2. Like, good luck, everyone else. Like, a lot of the smaller companies, unfortunately, are gonna go bankrupt, and it is what it is, or they're gonna get acquired. Skier is going to be the one, you bet. Rod sounds really angry at 1.75 speed. Oh man, I've just been dealing with so many trolls lately. I was on a roll. I was on a roll with no troll, and yeah, now they've just been coming out all left, right, and center. But again, they don't come on these live streams because they know we'll chew them out, right? What they do is they go on the videos, or they message me on social in a group. Like, they won't come online. They won't come on and actually, because they're unsophisticated. They don't want to invest any time. They just read a thumbnail and then they comment. They don't want to actually come on here and have thoughtful discourse and try to get to the truth and share opinions, and maybe they can say something that I didn't know, or convince me on something that I wasn't convinced on, or persuade me somehow, or I can persuade them. No, they're just not adults, right? So yeah, I get a little frustrated because that's something I need to work on for sure. Just ignore them. Love today's ranting. It's good to decompress. I do that on Reddit. Yeah, I just signed up for Reddit not too long ago. First time signing up, and I already regret it. That's like the most toxic internet, comical, classical, nonsensical, stereotypical freaking internet troll place to be hanging out, right? Reddit. It's like a bunch of low IQ people, and you try to, like, spread knowledge and help them understand. And they're like, I just no time for it. That's why I created Pow Group Juice. It's like, when people aren't, it's amazing what changes when people, like, when I first started Pow Group, it was free. And then it was $5 a month. And then even just having $5 a month eliminated like 99% of the trolls. I was like, that was worth it. Like, it was just like, wow. Like, and then you get all these free platforms where they just come out and they pounce. Hexo gonna moon, mates, you bet. Yeah, all MJ's gonna moon, but Hexo's gonna drop some jaws. Like, people aren't gonna know what the hell happened. Charles says stocks. Yeah, so Questrade I would recommend Questrade. They got options and things like that, and lots of different fundamental reports. But yeah, that's the official sponsor of Pow Group, so I highly recommend those or that exchange. I've traded Luna and already made 4 times my money. I'm going to add all these gains to my Hexo position on the next dip, if ever. Congratulations. Yeah, just be super careful with Luna. Yeah, that's all. If you're not experienced and, anything more than a trade, just get in and out of that thing, man. That was a dumpster fire. And we even had, I forget who said it, but somebody even, Swissborg. Look up Swissborg. They even said that a death spiral could happen to Luna. They forecasted it. They predicted it was going to happen. And it happened. They lost 100% of its value. Just crazy, right? But congratulations. Yep, not a bad, sounds like a great plan. Vincent, do you think Shopify can go up from here? The CEO bought lots of shares last week. It's definitely due for a bounce. Yep. At least a lower high on the monthly or the weekly. I think it's going to see a monster rally. Yeah, we just need this broader market, S&P 500, to start its weekly bounce. Weekly inside bars across the sector, across broader market. Bitcoin's a weekly inside bar. We've got lots of SPY's a weekly inside bar. DXY, the dollar index, is an weekly inside bar. So if the weekly inside bar breaks bearish on the dollar index, that's good for stocks, and then we can expect the weekly inside bars to break bullish on crypto and the S&P. And again, like people who are, big into MJ, I talk about crypto and they're like, that's, not worth talking about. It's like, well, no, like if you can see, the more clues you have, the better, right? I look at the MJ space, I look at the crypto space, I look at the broader market, I look at the tech sector, I look at the biotech sector, the healthcare sector, the financial sector. All of this stuff is going to help you get more clues, right? And more tools in your tool belt. But yeah, I think Shopify's gonna have a monster rally soon. Don't know why Verano dropped. I didn't really pay too much attention. Good question though. I did notice that. So anybody knows, they can drop it in the comments. But we're getting to the end here. Gonna wrap it up. Bought my first Hexo share in the late 2018 in my last Friday. Matthew says, awesome. Yeah, 2018. Wow. That was 2 years before I even bought Hexo. My first time buying them was in 2020, in the summer of 2020. Holding almost 12,000 shares. Nice. Yeah, I think I'm over 50,000 now. I'll add if we get to 20 cents USD, but beyond that, my bags are packed. I'm ready to go. I've also got like Tilray, I've got HMMJ, I've got MSOS, the ETF, I've got retailers, High Tide, I've got some small caps, large caps, you name it. From 32.15 down to 24 cents. Wow. Yeah, that's insane, huh? Reverse split. Will it happen? Held out through the last one. It could happen, right? We know that we have until July 25th to regain compliance, but we're probably going to get an extension just like SNDL did, which would mean that it bring us into January 25th, 2023. And yeah, they might reverse split, right? I really don't care if they reverse split or not. Like that's why reverse splits. Do you guys know why reverse splits are even there and why splits are there? So that market makers can manipulate stuff more. Like, why do you think Amazon did a stock split in 2000 right before the dot-com crash? Because they wanted to pawn it off on retail. Why do you think they're doing a 20-to-1 Amazon reverse or stock split 20-to-1 on June 6th? Because average retail can't buy it at $2,000-$3,000 a share, so they're going to make $100 at the end of the bull cycle. They're going to make it so that every mom and pop and every retail investor can buy Amazon for $100, and then they're going to crash the market into a brutal bear market, right? For probably a year or two worth of downside, and we're just going to get absolutely annihilated. This is what they do. This is why these tools are meant to make the rich richer. Okay. Why do you think there's a thing called accredited investor? You can't invest in companies that aren't public, meaning if a company's private, like say, for example, Coinbase, you couldn't invest in Coinbase before they went public because you weren't accredited. And to be accredited, it depends on the region, but you need to have either $1 million, not including like your house, right? It just has to be like investments. It's like, that's a lot. That's hard to do. Or you need to have like $200,000 worth of annual salary for the last 2 consecutive years, or $300,000 combined between you and your spouse. Why do they create that? So that the rich get richer. Right? It's all stacked. The game's stacked against the little fellas and the little guys and gals like you and me, like the retail investor. That's why stock splits exist. That's why accredited investors exist, so that the rich can get in first, make the money. Then once it goes public, they sell it off to retail. They crash it. Let's bring up Coinbase. And people were like, "Oh, I'm gonna finally buy Coinbase now." And you're like, "Okay, well, did you know that it went up like hundreds of percent before it IPO'd? Then it IPO'd, hit a high of $4.29, then went to $40 frickin' dollars. Now guess what? All the people who bought in the pre-ICO and who had accredited investor status, they all sold here on the day that it opened, and then those who didn't get to sell here sold here on the next lower high. And then guess what's happening now? All those accredited investors are buying it back again from all the scared, uneducated, emotional retail investors, and they rinse repeat it. Liquid cash, yeah. So anyways, we've got lots of people still on the stream. Thank you so much for joining after almost an hour and a half. Again, gonna go check out the dispensary after this. Gonna go get some Hexo new drinks, the Trust drinks. Like I said, they got root beer, cream soda, and the lemon iced tea XMGs in now. I had one beer left over from, I went to Game 7, the Oilers versus Kings. It was lit. I did a short on my YouTube channel too, but like the decibel like level in there was like it hurt my, I honestly like had to like plug my ear at one point. Got some hearing. I was in a band when I was young too, and I have hearing issues. Yeah, it was fantastic. But oh man, it's like crazy expensive, those tickets. Even the Battle of Alberta, it's like $500 for like the cheapest ticket. I think maybe even more than that. But yeah, celebrating with the last beer here, and then I'm gonna go get some XMGs, and then I'm gonna do a product review video. I don't know if I'll do that tonight. I'm getting a little tired. Knowing me, though, I probably will. Right? Grinding nonstop. Thanks for your work, homie. You bet. Thanks for joining the stream. Holding more than 50% cash. Yeah, same here. As long as you have a plan, right? That's what most people, those who fail to plan to fail. And that's what most people don't do. They didn't dollar cost average. They didn't short the S&P 500. They didn't save some cash on the side, right? All this stuff can help us. All right, going to end it there. I don't see any other questions. Thanks everybody for joining the stream. It's always a pleasure, and really enjoy coming on here and doing these streams. I can't believe it's been an hour and a half. Wow, yeah, time flies when you're having fun. So once again, thanks everybody. If you could smash the like on the way out, it doesn't cost you anything. Help support me in the channel and get this video to as many people as possible, which in the end is only going to help us all, right? And yeah, tick the bell, you'll be notified the next time I go live. Have a great night, and we'll see you a little bit later on for a product review video. Take care, everybody.